Since I was a young boy, I've traveled north into Canada in pursuit of black bears. It all started with my dad taking me on his black bear hunts up into Canada. I would hang out in camp when he hunted, and when he was back, he would show me a thing or two about what it was like to hunt up there, checking baits, looking at the different plants and shrubs, and occasionally fishing. Bear hunting in Canada has been a part of my life for a long time.
I can see God bless manifest destiny. Night of hot drinking and I met a bad man, traded money for my soul and my quick hand. Contract paying for some men to be dead, paid me silver to fix it with lead. Thoughts are circling overhead, there's a number to mind their song.
It's our last place to gas up here before we head into bear camp, so we're just topping off the tank, and these guys are going to get some ice, and it's our last stint. Will be to camp, so it's starting to get pretty exciting at this point. All right, keep on rolling.
Charged in fast as the morning broke, thunder and lightning.
I was excited to be back to this camp. I love sleeping in wall tents, and my buddy Colin Paley with Northern Edge Outfitting has one of the best wall tent camps I've ever spent time in. I'd be sharing this camp with three of my great friends, Michael and Chase Bales and Kane Ree, all of whom who'd never actually been to Canada or taken a bear before. I was honestly just as excited for their hunt this week as I was for mine. There's something about being in camp with somebody who's there for the first time that just makes it that much more special. All right, man. Good luck. See if we can get back. Look forward to it. Well, that's pretty cool. We just started bear hunting up here. It's our first day of bear hunting here in Alberta. And what a sign that you've arrived in the far north here. Not only this foliage and these pine trees behind me, but we have caribou tracks going down the road. So for a couple of Montana boys here, we just had to stop and admire and take it in. It's pretty cool. Excited to keep going. After stopping to observe the caribou track, I looked up and could see something walking up the road in my direction. As it got closer, there was no question what it was. Now, lynx don't normally show themselves like this. I couldn't help but to wonder what caused his injury, and if that wasn't the reason he was using less caution. Maybe more hungry than your average lynx. It's crazy the wild things you see when you spend time in remote places.
Small hit of dopamine floods in my bloodstream. A notification calls me to act now. Constant distractions divert my attention to the fact that I'm no longer happy somehow. The media.
I decided for this hunt I was going to try spot and stalk style hunting. I really enjoy being on the ground and being mobile, and using my skills on the ground in trying to get close to these bears.
This is cool country in here, a lot of undulation. Wow, look at that.
It was good to be back, looking over a lot of the same country I had spot and stalked the last time I was here. And it didn't take long to start seeing bears.
Still coming this way. We got two bears down the road here that are actually feeding right towards us. But being that they're together and they look very similar in size makes me think that we don't have just like two giant boars walking down the road towards us. It makes me really feel like there's probably 2.5, 3.5-year-old bears, maybe a brother and sister, maybe just a boar and a sow cruising together, but you can tell the one's definitely blockier, bulkier, kind of a thicker head than the other, but shoulder-wise and kind of length and everything, they're pretty similar. So we're gonna let them keep getting closer, and I'll keep trying to size them up. And we may try to move up a little closer on them, but that's exciting. This left side started sneaking towards us. Yeah. Man, I'm trying to decide. I mean, that one bear, I mean, like I said, he's built like a...
After sizing up these bears, I knew that neither one of them was the size of the bear that I came here to take. But I never pass up an opportunity to stalk a bear, or anything that I'm hunting for that matter, to work on my skills as a hunter, but also learn their body mannerisms, and when I can get away with moving, and when I can't. It's using those stalks that you're not afraid to blow that I find super beneficial.
74.
Where the pavement ends, on X begins. Oh, that couldn't have worked out any better. Just had that biggest of those two bears at 15 yards. He's still just right here behind me. And that was exciting. If that would have been a big bear, I mean, that was game over. We've watched him for an hour and a half coming down this road at us. I'd play with them more, but the skeeters are eating us alive right now. That was awesome. To top off a great evening, when we got back to camp, I got the news that Michael had taken a big bear.
Thank you.
Good work.
Big coconut.
Michael's first bear.
Big bear.
Awesome. Yeah, it's a big bear. Over here.
Over the next couple days, we saw several bears, but I quickly realized finding a bear wasn't the hard part of this game. Finding a big bear was going to be the hardest part. On the morning of day 4, Colin got back to camp after checking some of his baits and seemed pretty excited. He told me if I was ready to sit in a stand, he had a good spot for me. After several days of not seeing a good bear, I decided to sit the stand just to put eyes on this bear and see what he looked like.
pretty exciting. Colin just dropped us off. We're still hunting up here in Northern Alberta. We've been doing the spot and stalk thing, but just haven't found a big bear. Colin went and baited this today and was like, we got a big one. So he's excited to get us in here, and we're excited to be here. We're just gonna settle in and hope a big old pumpkin-headed bear shows up. One of those that's just like no-brainer. That's what we're hunting for.
It was a beautiful night, and I just really enjoyed sitting there, listening to the sounds of the forest, and watching the light as it sort of danced through the forest, changing the view almost every 5 minutes. We knew that there was 2 different bears in this area. So when I saw this bear, I knew it was a good bear, and I knew it was a bear that I would take. But I wanted to see what the other bear looked like. And sometimes curiosity and holding out isn't always the smart move. But at this point, I was willing to take that chance.
Knowing that there was 2 bears on there, I was like, well, maybe there's one that's really big, you know. And then the other bear came in, and it's still a pretty decent bear too, but it's a little bit smaller than the other one.
Sure.
The 5th night of the hunt, I returned back to the tree stand.
We're back in here. It's a beautiful spot. I love hunting in these areas where it's just that moss floor. You do not hear these bears coming at all, so you kind of have to be on high alert. You can hear a squirrel better in this forest than you can hear a bear. It's weird. Excited for our sit as well as everybody else in camp, just hoping a couple more bears roll in tonight. So much fun up here. May 14th. It's actually Mother's Day today, so to all you mothers watching, happy Mother's Day. So, beautiful day.
When I let the arrow fly, I knew it was immediately high. So I followed it up with a second arrow. Not how I saw the scenario going down, but regardless, the bear was done in seconds.
This is just a great bear. I've looked at him long enough. I had a pretty good indicator of what he was, but I'll be honest, he's even a little bigger when you get up to him on the ground here. And you can see this pumpkin head on this thing. It's just a chunk. Man. That is a great bear.
All my friends were able to take the bears that they had hoped to when we set out and planned this trip over 3 years ago. That last evening in camp, it was just so great to sit around and look at the smiles on everybody's faces. It was kind of one of those moments where you realize how lucky you are to be where you are and be surrounded by such good people. It's those moments that we go to those places for, and it's those moments that we reflect back on when we talk about the hunts. The signing of the tent and the stories that come back to camp, that's what it's about. Getting a bear is a bonus, and that's what our focus is. But when you look back on these hunts, it's those moments that you remember. The moments around the campfire, the people that tripped at coming into the tent or hit their head on the lantern. It's the little things that make hunting camp so special.